Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of InfoComm India, I welcome you all at this interesting webinar for our AV-IT channel, which is being co-organized with FITAG and TAIT. Today, we are going to talk about the business opportunities for the IT sector in the Pro AV segment, and we have got a plethora and a good galaxy of speakers with us today. And I welcome various IT channel friends from all over India who have joined us today. It's indeed a pleasure to meet and interact with you to understand what are the real opportunities which will bring your more business to the next stellar area. I would like to tell you that if you are in AV business or IT business, the future is very tantalizing, very exciting. The Pro AV business in India is expected to reach 80,000 crores in the next 4-5 years. And we are trying to jump from a 50,000 crore to 80,000 crore. And this business is happening real time right now. Post-COVID, post-digitalization of business, post-realization that we should do our core business, let us automate the processes. Pro AV is the solution for most of these things. We have with us today Mr. Ratheesh Karakulath, who's going to do the keynote address. Thereafter, we are going to do a very interesting panel discussion on IT business opportunities in Pro AV, where we will be joined by Mr. Viren Bavishi, Dr. Bharat Desai, Mr. Bhavesh Kothari, and Mr. Aman Singh. And then Manav from Netgear is going to do a very interesting case study, which will give you insights on which direction our future is going to be. As I've mentioned, this webinar is here for our IT channel community to explore the next big business opportunity, which is Pro AV. And at InfoComm India 2023, we would be able to showcase what is the future of India's Pro AV industry. Without taking too much of time, I would like to now invite Mr. Ratheesh Karakulath, DGM Savex Technologies, to deliver a keynote address. Ratheesh, with his 25 years of experience in the most interesting market, his insights for go-to-market strategies, developing channel, strengthening channel, creating alliances, and helping multifold revenue increases for the promoters is what Ratheesh has done in his entire life. Ratheesh, I would look forward to get your insights. You are an IC distributor and you try to understand empathetically what the client requires and often work as a consultant to bridge the gap. Let us hear from you what you would like to say. Thank you and welcome, Ratheesh.
Thanks, Mr. Suraj, for this lovely introduction. And thanks to the entire InfoComm team for giving me this opportunity. And all these speakers, thanks. I mean, I can see a very experienced veterans in front of me. And welcome to all the partner fraternity. I have already got a complete detailed introduction of mine by Mr. Suraj. Thanks for that as well. So really excited to interact with all of you. I just wanted to bring your notice to one most important factors that the way we have been doing business, life, everything has changed in the recent past. Our life has now become something like pre-COVID and post-COVID timelines. Everything is calculated, considered based on that. One big thing which has happened post-COVID or during the COVID, etc., is that the hybrid working has got accelerated significantly. Working from home, learning from home, all that become very, very, very common. The area of conference rooms which used to be the one of the major area for the AV industry to work around. That has changed drastically in the last, I can say so, to for few years. The conference room today, if you look at a conference room perspective, if any room has become a conference room, I'm sure today the people sitting here, many of you are, some of you are operating out of your home, some of you are operating out of some other locations, maybe at different remote locations, etc. But doesn't make any difference. Everybody is connected and everybody is able to attend this. Even this platform itself is a classic example of how we have been getting into this change of getting into anywhere, any place is a work or conference kind of an environment. This has created a scenario for all the conference rooms, which used to be an AV dominant area, to become more and more hybrid. And there is a big role for the IT industry to play there as well. So I'll just give you a few glimpses of some data points as well as some idea and opportunities. Let me just share my screen. I hope my screen is visible.
We can see this. Please proceed. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So I have just jotted down few of the key facts which is related to our industry. The most important thing is that there is a substantial amount of convergence are happening between AV and IT industry. All the devices which just before the session started, we were discussing all the things like cameras, projectors, displays, audio systems, everything is getting connected to the IT networks, which is becoming an essential part of it. India conference market, video conferencing market is expected to grow from 164 million to 475 million by 2027. It is a huge opportunity, huge growth is happening around us. As per 6W research, we see business to grow at a compound annual growth rate of 20.4% from 2020 to 2026. The convergence of AV and IT is accelerating the cloud adoption. I will give all the details in the opportunities, and I will move forward to the opportunity which is in front of all of us. What are these opportunities? Cloud-based services. The concept of hybrid workspace actually has accelerated the cloud requirements in the conference room also. Everybody needs all the solutions to be platform agnostic. Earlier, it used to be connected to a network, fixed network, only works on a particular kind of a streaming platform, etc. That is no more the case. This entire structure, everybody requires remote collaboration, content storage, not at your premise, but in the cloud, and accessibility from wherever you are. These are all becoming must. So somewhere the hybrid workspace cloud adoption is getting fast accelerated. Earlier, as I mentioned just now, proprietary protocols have been changed to IT infrastructure. Before time, if we talk about 3 or 4 months before, 3 or 4 years before, it always used to be conference means it is a conference room only. Now we are talking about video conferencing, Zoom, team viewers, all that kind of terminology have started coming and hitting our lives. Unified communications is another opportunity. Communication tools are getting integrated. All your video conferencing, messaging, voice calls, everything comes under single platform. I'll just give you a best example today. A company who is primarily into the typical workspace kind of opportunities playing in that area, a company like an HP is purchasing a company called Poly, who is completely into the video conferencing and headsets and AV related product lines. This is a clear indication that how globally the companies are looking forward and trying to adopt to the hybrid working culture. With this unified and adaptable infra, the biggest advantage is that all this infrastructure investment, what you are doing today by a client, is always going to be future ready. You can integrate any future advancements easily, which was not the case in the traditional way. And today, the main subject everybody knows is the data analytics and AI. With the kind of AV and IT integration, the importance of AI is also getting more and more significant. Today, I can tell you there are cameras working across streets to monitor the traffic violence. It's completely run on AI. It used to be a completely different game which has been opening up for the IT industry. Also, with these changes coming in our way, one more interesting fact, which is not now, but it is getting accelerated much more, is the BYOD, which is bring your own device. With the convergence of AV and IT, the biggest advantage is that you can bring your own device, connect it to the network, and start working. So I've just tried to give some of the base points where I can see there is a lot of synergy between the AV and IT when it comes to integrating and getting into the AV space for the IT partners are getting more and more significant. These are some points which are critical. I felt I have tried to place in front of you, and thank you so much for listening to me. And once again, thanks to all the InfoComm team for giving me this opportunity to address all of you and discuss and listen to this interesting panel discussion which is coming up. Thanks everyone.
Thanks, Ratheesh. I'm sure a lot of people have made notes to understand what new dealerships, what new agencies, what new partnerships they need to sign up to be future ready. And you see, I feel at times that some of the points which you are talking ensure that for us human beings to evolve, fast tracking is an absolute must. And some of these things can only happen through cloud-based services. And to think that there was a life without a cloud, at least this current generation, Gen Zs will never understand. They would always feel that this is how people used to live forever. We will call you back for more question and answers later because some of your points are very relevant. People are more curious to know what they could do. Now we would like to have our panelists for a panel discussion. And as I mentioned earlier, we are talking about the opportunities for pro AV sector for our IT business houses. And we have with us today Dr. Bharat Desai, founder AB Infotel. Again, a person who wears many hats, AV consultant, researcher, author, philosopher, and a performing sitar artist as well. Dr. Desai, I welcome you. And one day, I do hope to listen to your sitar performance as well. We also have with us Mr. Bhavesh Kothari from Ashtech Infotech, 20 years of veteran, seeing how industry has grown from nothing to where it is today, and has done a lot of stellar projects in ERP infrastructure, e-governance, boardrooms, conference rooms, campus activations, premises, etc. Bhavesh bhai, I welcome you and I look forward to interact with you.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
We also have with us Mr. Aman Singh from Optoma, 20 years of experience, understanding how the industry has evolved, and somebody who has seen that, done that in enterprise, government, B2B channels, in everything which our industry has seen over the last 20 years, whether cybersecurity, firewall, SaaS, etc., etc. Aman, I welcome you, and let's have a very interesting discussion.
Thank you, sir.
Viren bhai has not joined us so far. I do hope that he'll join us shortly, then we can bring him in. So I would like to start with a common question to all our panelists. My first question is, as Ratheesh mentioned, before COVID and after COVID, is this how we are going to tell our future to the next generation? That there was a time before COVID, now there's going to be a time after COVID. Bharat bhai, what is your opinion? What is your assessment?
Yes, definitely it will be a different one. And after COVID also, we can see a lot of emergence between IT and audio. I'll tell you, we used to make a lot of home. I will just give a case study of that. We used to make some small home theaters before few years. But nowadays, when we make a home theaters, previously we used to have only amplifier. Now we use the AVR. So in AVR, you are not putting only the Blu-ray player or the DVD player. First requirement will come of that whole the house camera should be seen over there. So you will be needing an IT person right over there. Then second requirement will be, they will be asking for the Fire Stick. Again, to run the Fire Stick, you will need a Wi-Fi connection. Now again, if it is a multi-storage location, then you might be connecting your whole the house with help of network connection. So again, IT person will be needed. So everywhere, like wherever only audio and video application was there, now all these applications are to be enabled with IT services. So that's what my feeling is.
So IT is the masala in every beautiful AV dish.
Yes.
Without IT masala, the dish will never work. It will never feed you. This is what you are trying to say.
Yes.
Very interesting. Can I now ask the same question to Aman? Aman, what is your assessment? How the world has changed before COVID and after COVID?
So earlier, what I would like to talk about is AV predominantly, or at old age, traditional AV was where a lot of labor was required, a lot of manpower was required, a lot of expertise in terms of installation that was required. With the technological changes, AV is also moving towards IP. So everything is getting integrated through IP. Now, the moment IP comes into picture, actually AV does not know a lot about how to integrate smart integrations. So the moment you want to make your home smart, your office smart, and you want to connect each and every device with talking to each other, you want to ensure that your laptop, your TV, your mobile phone, everything is connected simultaneously. So for all of this, AV was not ready. The moment everybody was talking about smart integration, the moment everybody was talking about integration, for that matter of fact, IT people were called in, IT people were required to pitch in. People during COVID, they definitely moved leaps and bounds because everybody was at home. Everybody had time to understand what and how integration is happening. Because of Zoom calls, everybody had, so people knew that they want to see on a larger screen, they want to connect ASAP. They wanted backgrounds to change, as we just saw. They wanted everybody to sync their backgrounds. Now, this just from a traditional AV guy, from a traditional AV partner perspective, that was not happening. They wanted some expertise from IT industry, from a IT servicing. And yes, COVID helped it by leaps and bounds.
See, we do understand that before that, AV industry, AV products were in silos, and IT was able to link them together. Ratheesh made a very interesting point earlier that look how involving IT protocols and telling the AV industry to do away with customized, self-owned, non-distributable protocols has made a big difference. I think in future, the way even Apple iPhone 15 has come with a C charger now, in a way, it is the industry trying to listen that, look, let us make the protocols minimal so that people can enjoy the same and have the same experience everywhere. Bhavesh, your insights on this, please.
Yes, I do agree that the market has really changed in last 3-4 years, 5 years timeline. Earlier, video conferencing was confined to the boardroom or the director's room or the high level of training rooms and all. Now, with BYOD, video conferencing has become so easy. Who is preferring now to travel from Dadar to Navi Mumbai for attending a sales school? No. Or whatever, for that purpose, attending a one-day meeting from Ahmedabad to Mumbai. Nobody is preferring that. Neither the vendor is preferring, nor the customer is preferring. So video conferencing in AV, that is the beginning, and it's a need of an hour. Everybody, whatsoever the industry is, people prefer to meet virtually. And at the last case, if the need be, then only they prefer to meet one-on-one. So that is the evolution which has come in audio video. As far as integration of audio AV and IT is concerned, it's like earlier Mail and Express trains and now Vande Bharat. Reaching from Ahmedabad to Mumbai was taking 8 hours, 10 hours of time, and within now 5.5 hours, we can reach that. So IT has become the transport layer for AV. Integrating AV technology and piggyback on IT is so popular and so evolving that tomorrow there will hardly be any differentiation between IT and AV. Both will be integrated very closely.
See, I am reminded of 1995 when internet first came to India. A lot of people in this room who are our participants would not have even born at that time. At that time, an advertisement came from, I think, Hughes Network, USA HSS. And they said that they wanted to set up an information superhighway in India. And they wanted to have partners who could partner with them on superhighway.
Right.
And I can tell you, most of the applications were from the road construction industry. They thought that some new highway has to come up in India. And we should all bid and pre-qualify for that, look, they want to set up a superhighway. But now how the things have changed, how people have understood that, look, we have the desire to communicate with each other. While we would always love to have a chai real time with you together in the same room, let us keep it for a special occasion. And when it comes to routine business transaction, let us focus on our Zoom calling and other integrated solutions as well.
Very true.
See, I'm very curious that when we talk about the AV IT transformation, some people say this is happening in the top 10 Indian cities. I feel that each nook and corner of India is experiencing the same evolution, if not revolution. Aman, what is your assessment when it comes from demand generation? Is it skewed between the top 10, top 15 cities, or the whole India is in sync? What is your viewpoint on that?
So it is in sync, I would say. Yes, it is skewed only for a bit, as in if you talk about the large projects. So they are clustered in the top 10 or top 15 cities of India. But yeah, because of a lot of our current governments in the country, also in various states, also where they are promoting more and more to go towards the countryside or to go towards. So, if you talk about AV, for that matter of fact, Modi ji's vision of having AV, having our monuments, having, talking about history in front of all the audience, that has got a lot of AV projects going towards villages, going towards small cities, towns, your grade B cities where these monuments were present, grade C cities where these monuments were present. AV has also moved on when you talk about the hospitals, the seminar halls. So they are not just clustered in the top 15 cities anymore. Your obviously COVID, it has decentralized the entire personal force. Now, when decentralization happened, the clusterization of AV, that is not happening anymore. It has moved towards almost every city of India. Everybody actually today needs AV in their lives, just like IT earlier. We had a lot of people just talking about laptops and desktops. Now today, everybody is talking about Zoom. So Zoom is part of AV. Your video conferencing equipment, that is part of AV. So everybody is talking about it, and it has moved away from the main cities. Clustering, yes, they are clustered because the population density in grade A, grade B cities or top 15 cities of India is higher. But yeah, earlier it was not that widespread. Today they are spread.
Thank you, Aman. Bhavesh bhai, over to you. I have a very basic question, which a lot of elections have been won on that. Bijli or pani, or bijli or internet? What is your take?
Bijli or pani and bijli or
Internet.
No, Bijli or internet is already establishing, and it has already been established in a deepest town or deepest taluka level, and more it will go deeper and deeper. But the election funda will remain Bijli and Pan.
Okay. See,
But
my
I would
point
like
is
to
that
add one example in what Aman said, that it has reached to it is not confined to the city area or the major area. Let me give you a small example. Like if you are standing in your balcony, the 10-year kids will be playing. You can see playing at the ground, and then they will say, "Okay, I'm going on, and let us catch up on the Zoom." Now, earlier it was never imagined that 9-10 years kid will say, "Let us catch up on Zoom." He will talk to his friend for hours and hours on the Zoom. So that is where AV has gone and to the smallest level of the things, and that is where the integration of AV and IT has happened.
See, I'll tell you a very interesting anecdote. In the year 2020, when the world closed down, we were doing a lot of virtual exhibitions. And people would come from all parts of India to say they were curious that how to participate in a virtual exhibition. I had this old man who was a carpet exporter sitting in Mirzapur, who had no clue how to do this, but he was actually very interested. And we would do these live demos on share screen, Zooms to teach people. We could not succeed. One day I said, "Do you have your granddaughter at home?" And he had a 7-year-old granddaughter. She sat with Dadaji and she trained him how to go to Zoom, how to make things happen, because he said that we are doing the same in school every day. And in another occasion, one daughter-in-law came with full parda, who said that, "Look, I am here because my father-in-law has said that, can you please guide me on how to run the system?" So these are how people got confident that, look, AV, IT it is very much age agnostic. People do not need that this requires a pre-qualification. If you are ready for it, the whole of India will move from a laptop demand to a projector demand to say that each home, each office should have a unified communication system. Today, we have so many people, our participants who are from tier 2, tier 3 cities of Gujarat, Maharashtra, other parts of India. So I wanted to tell them by asking these questions to all of you is that when it comes to demand generation, if they talk about solutions, I am sure some of the clients in their cities would come and say that, look, yeah, I need this. Can you please make an offer to me commercially? Bharat bhai, over to you. Give us some insights on how businesses in MSMEs are talking about corporate demands. You feel that MSMEs had very tough time last 2, 3 years. Are they back in purchasing?
Right.
Yes,
I'll tell you one thing.
as far as we experience, market has really opened up, and people are now thriving for the growth, and for that they want to do anything and everything. People have realized that the time is the essence of the life. If we miss the bus today, they are nowhere. So, in order to encash the current time domain, they are really moving fast.
Thank you. Bharat bhai, you were saying something?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
as you said that after, previously, if we are going to make small auditoriums, nowadays, how it is getting connected with IT is like when we are making a small auditorium, the first demand will be they would like to have there's not only the screen, but they would like to have a screen with touch sensitivity and touch facilities. That is the first demand. Then second, what they will be asking, whatever the things and what the discussions are carried over in this classroom, it has to be telecasted in other places of their other branches also. So in these places, what you need is, Miss IT person will come. He has to set up for the projector. He has to set up for the big Zoom setups, audio setups, recording, and the other people also can interrupt their discussion. All kind of facilities are required by customers.
See, I feel that education has really transformed. It has gone to a stage which is much beyond expectations. In
Yes.
2012, 13, 10 years ago, we would go to IIT Mumbai. And IIT Mumbai at that time had pioneered in MOOC courses, massive online open learning classes, where they would say that our lectures are being recorded, we stream them. Anybody can listen and get knowledge because we don't want to say that you have to enter IIT to learn. And now I think trillion gigabytes of memory must be stored all over the world where the best of classroom education is now possible for people. Aman, I wanted to understand in terms of demand generation, are you still seeing in education massive demand coming from elementary education or higher education? What are the areas where you feel the demand is higher now in terms of education?
Right. Usually, no, what is observed is that whatever you read, instead of that, whatever you listen, and whatever you listen, better than that, if you see at the video, that is the concept going on. So previously we were asking only to read, then we were telling the stories. Now we are showing them the videos. So when video comes for even say nursery school, they are demanding for the projectors and content related to that. So video and audio requirement is not only for nursery, it is for the secondary education, higher education, as well as for the conferencing at the college level also.
Great insights. Aman, what would you like to say? What is your assessment of the future of education in India? Which direction will create the maximum demand?
The future of education will always remain EV. Furthermore, advancement is definitely required on that front because for education, you need audio as well as visual. It will go towards a 3D effect kind of a scenario. It may go towards your other factors, touch and feel factors coming into play. Obviously, at remote, how would that happen? That is obviously the technology to look for. But yeah, AV education cannot go without AV. That will remain the biggest part of that particular industry. That will remain the biggest part, to impart, knowledge in the sense, making students understand, making students go through the entire learning structure course, or taking them through an experience. AV would definitely be required, and it will remain the most important part in that particular industry. Yes, as and when we are moving towards standardization, or if we are moving towards advancements, we would require better and better clarity of pictures moving through our entire IP system, moving towards through our World Wide Web. We would require servers, we would require whiteboards, we would require projection, larger screens, in fact. So 150 inch, 300 inches is what we would require for the platforms, the classroom kind of platforms. For home platforms, your virtual classrooms, you would still require a teacher to stand up and project, or at least present on a interactive flat panel. You would require document cameras, which will basically capture a 3D image and can be showcased to all the students across the globe, or even for the classroom, projecting it on a 300-inch screen or a 150-inch screen. You would require equipments like document camera. You already have smart dais, which is part of AV, which has everything integrated. Your camera is integrated, your entire system is integrated, your PC is also integrated on the dais itself. So without AV, that education industry would not be able to work. It cannot be just the sound. Even if you are talking about sound, it is audio. So it has to be there. AV has to be a part, and AV will remain the part.
Yeah, as all of you know, this time we are doing the event at JWCC Geo World Convention Center. Their conferencing is state of the art. And the way they have done these smart platforms and smart dials, please come and have a look and understand how beautifully they have integrated the digital and AV environment there. It's a pleasure to work there. See, a lot of people talk about the future. And we understand today corporates are back in business, government spending is back. All of you agree that education is also an area where spending will continue to go on. Still, new technologies are knocking the doors. AR, VR is something which is yet to take a steady state. I feel that in future, each corporate office would have a green room where the walls will be green. They can record videos, record messages, do the editing later. And investing in a green room is a must for schools, colleges, corporates as well. I've got one question for our panel, which talks about the future of AR, VR. 2 weeks ago, Apple announced that they will be coming with their fantastic AR, VR goggles, $3,000, $250,000 per piece. What do you think is the future? Bhavesh, what is your suggestion? Do you think AR, VR will become a reality? Will we spend 3 lakh rupees for a goggle for every household member? Over to you.
AR, VR is definitely the future, but as I foresee, it's some more time to get those things really come into the usage of the common public or common man. Though it is very, very useful, and when we talk about ChatGPT, artificial intelligence, machine learning, AR, VR, all those things, the world is going to be there. But the feasibility or the reality of the commercials or reality of the commercial aspects of that is yet to come in the next 1 or 2 years of time. It still remains for the top line of the applications, though for the gaming and all, it has become really reality. But when it comes to the commercial usage of that, that may take a couple of years more. That is my point.
So by 2030, pav bhajis will be cooked on AR, VR. We can tell our children how to cook it.
Yes,
Some
yes,
other ways.
2030 is next 6 years' time. So I'm just talking that it will be 2-3 years down that line. technology will becoming more feasible and realizable, and maybe by 2030 it will become the actual reality of the game.
So the future will
Surajji,
arrive quicker than expected. Hanji, Bharat bhai, over to you.
Surajji, at this junction of time, let me tell you something and some research which I was going through. Like when we are talking about in the schools and colleges, they will be taught through the videos. It will be easier for them to learn. But against that, one more survey has come out, which is showing that in learning process, when you are focusing on video during the learning, you cannot focus for more than 12 or 13 minutes. After 12 or 13 minutes, your student's focus is going away. So that will be one of the barrier. So if we consider that everything will be studied online by audio video, that would not be the correct thing. That it will be restricted somewhere. And
See,
one more,
very perfect observation, sir. Please carry on.
And one more research which I was looking at, that they were saying that when you are showing suppose you are showing the students that how the tree is growing from small seeds to the plant and tree. If you are showing that process, it is very easy to understand. But if you are learning all this thing through the video, your visualization power, your imagination power is also getting suffered. So that is also to be considered.
See, very good observations. I can tell you yesterday in Delhi, there was a half-page ad by Times of India, where Times of India said that people cannot read 2 pages of a novel anymore. How can they finish a 300-page novel? Because for them, humans are struggling to go beyond 4 lines of a WhatsApp message. Or last 3 weeks ago, there was a news that in North America, using a thumbs up sign is considered to be a valid contract. That on WhatsApp, you said thumbs up, and they said, yeah, you have said yes, and it is a valid contract. Things are changing. Things are changing big way. And I do feel that for our IT channel, they would need to have much greater depth in the products they would like to offer. They need to understand which direction the demand will come from. While traditional markets will remain, the ancillary product markets will increase significantly higher. The accessories market, where everybody says that, look, we cannot share a device, will be very, very important. And in terms of price points today, it is the desire to have that device, the desire to use the technology. Whatever price it comes, no longer matters. We see this all the time, that when people compare the price of a new phone with the price of a new car, there are much bigger queues in the line for buying that new phone, 250,000 rupees, where people say that, look, this is more important for me, my car can wait. See, I thank my esteemed panelists for this very interesting panel discussion. Please be around. We will have some Q&As from the audience. There are some of them which are already there in the box. I would now quickly like to move on to Mr. Manav Malik, and I would request him to present his case study. So Manav is the one who has always been in the reverse position. He has been telling AV channel that how they should adopt IT. And he has been succeeded quite well in that, with 25 years of experience with Netgear all over the world, India, Middle East, Africa. Manav has been doing a lot of interesting stuff. Manav, I would now give the stage to you. Let us all hear from you. Thank you.
Thank you, fellow
Over to
panelists.
you.
Thank you, keynote speaker. Thank you, the admin, and thank you, everyone, for giving me this opportunity to speak in front of you. You see, we as a OEM, as a networking OEM, we are an IT company, right? So now there are always avenues you have to look into to survive your growth, to accelerate your growth. Now, way back in early 2000s, many of our panelists have envisioned that and seen that how surveillance market, which was completely on analog, moved towards IP, because there were standardized protocols which helped the IP cameras to communicate, to control. And today you see that no camera comes without a network port. So what was a networking company's role in that? A networking company's role was to entirely move the industry, educate the system integrators, partners to adapt the future of technology. On the same lines, way back in 2015-16, we as an OEM have seen that AV is also struggling with the speed, with the network port speed, with the standardization, and it is bound to move towards IP. Now you can say it a first mover approach that we have taken. What we have done is we started with a alliance, named it as SDVOE, Software Defined Video over Ethernet, and become the founding member along with other AV OEMs. Six OEMs were there, including Netgear. So the only goal was to approach the AV industry and tell them that audio does not require much of bandwidth. So it is easy, and it was already in IP way long back. There's a protocol called as Dante, which is used in the AV world, which is AV over IP, which is audio over IP. Video was the challenge. Why? Because video requires a lot of bandwidth. Okay, and if you are doing a 4K, definitely more bandwidth. Now coming 8K, it's more bandwidth. So all our panelists were discussing about connecting the devices, moving the packets, right? And we are the networking OEM, so we have that full responsibility to move those packets within the network, right? So saying that, we worked on it. We designed products which are typically for the AV, saying that they are network switches. Out of the box, they are network switches. But on the top of it, they understand AV protocols like Dante. They understand AV protocols like NDI, NVX, QSys. And we partnered with 200 plus AV OEMs. So that has helped us to accelerate very well. And as a first approach OEM in that space, we were welcomed very well. And the growth is tremendous. Today, I can tell you, we as a network OEM, in our product kitty, the highest revenue generator is AV over IP switches. Highest revenue generator, which was not the case 5 years back. So AV over IP is there for real. It depends how exactly you are adapting it and approaching it. I'll just share a couple of slides with you guys so that initial years I also had a struggle to understand how exactly the AV works. We talk about video conferencing, we talk about broadcast, how exactly the TV channels work, how exactly a sports stadium shows you the cricket match in your TV. You are seeing so many angles, how exactly it is coming immediately. So there's a background work that is happening, right? Another thing is that even in a airport or in a hotel, you have your entire video walls and malls with video walls with showing you the advertisements, how exactly they work, how exactly the which video wall of which floor of the mall would play what content, who decides that, where to play it from, how exactly it is getting carried in the network. So these are all very complex things. So now, since standardization is happening, moving towards IP, so it all become must for AV to move towards IP. That opens the opportunity for our IT fraternity to look into AV as a solution in their product portfolio as well. Just give me a moment. I'll just share a couple of slides with all of you that would show you how exactly. So this particular slide, okay, if you see, in a nutshell, it tells you, you have a source in your left-hand side. That source could be your camera, it could be your digital signage, it could be your server, it could be your Blu-ray player, satellite box, laptop, anything, right? that connects using a HDMI or using any Ethernet or USB connectivity to a encoder. That encoder has a network port. It could be a 1 gig or a 10 gig, depending upon what type of streaming you are doing. If you are doing low latency streaming, or 1 gig network is enough for your streaming, go for the 1 gig. Or if you require a 4K to be displayed with 444, you have to have a 10 gig. Connects to a network switch. You have a controller connected to the network switch. On the other side, where you are going to display what exactly is coming from the left-hand side to the right-hand side, you need a projector or a 4K display or a video wall or a smart TV, and that would be pushed from the left-hand side to the right-hand side. Now, in between, if you can see my mouse movement, this controller decides which device to play where. Now, this camera wants to play in this particular first screen. You can control it from the AV controller. Okay. So earlier days, it was matrix switchers which used to play this out. These days, it is a network switch that is placed instead of the matrix switches. And all these encoders, decoders, mics, amplifiers are coming with network port, gets connected to these network switches. Right. So typically, this is how an overall scenario of a AV over IP world operates on. Now, if it's a VC kind of a conferencing system, or if it's a Dante-based audio system, a PA system, or if it's a video wall solution where you have multiple giant screens connected to each other and they are acting as a one large screen, everything falls under this kind of a solution. So very important that this particular network switch is understanding what are the protocols which are flowing within the network. So there are network protocols like within AV, like Dante or NVX or QSys or AES67 or NDI. So these protocols, these switches need to be aware of, or if it is not aware, you'll have to do a lot of configuration to make it aware. So typically, who are your customers? Now, if you want to venture into AV, who would be your customers? You would be catering to many of these, but you are catering to them on the IT side of it, not the AV side of it. So now, if you understand and if you want to venture into AV, definitely the same customer AV needs can be catered by you only. But you need to understand some basic ground rules. What are the OEMs that operate in that space? You have to make partnership. You have to do a lot of research. And then you create a solution of your own and start approaching your customers. So who are the AV customers? Large AV customers, sports, the large stadiums or the event venues where you have live shows happening. Education, our panelists have discussed already about education is moving heavily towards AV, smart classroom kind of a concept. Medical surgeries are moving towards AV over IP. Why? Because there are scenarios now where the surgeon is operating, and on the other room or somewhere else there's a panel of consultants or more experienced surgeons assisting the surgeon who is operating, and there cannot be single milliseconds of delay. When the cut is made, at the same time the other side the cut has to be shown. If there is a delay, if there is a communication gap, definitely the life of that particular patient would be threatened. Same is with high-end homes, as our panelists have discussed. High-end homes are moving towards AV over IP, and many customers are going for IP-based home automation, where not only their entertainment system, but their lights, but their curtains, everything is IP-based. Retail signages, small and mobile event venues like your sports bars or players, where you play a lot of these games live, where people just come to enjoy in the restaurant or the pub, and they immediately connect to the sports they would like to love to watch. Corporate offices like the boardrooms, the entire building's video walls, the reception video wall, the PA system, anything that connects to your corporate offices. And last but not the least, the command and the control centers. So these typically are the use cases where you can have AV over IP pitched, positioned, and the customers can have solutions from large AV OEMs. What we did, as I said, we tied up with 200 plus AV OEMs and created an ecosystem of solutions where all our product understand this ecosystem. So it is more going towards product based. So I'll not talk more product based, and I'll stop the share here. And if there is any question, definitely I can be there to answer you. And I hope I have given a use case scenario for you. And there are case studies, there are live case studies where you can check how exactly the OEMs are indulging with us in doing large AV installations, and they help them in long way going into satisfying the customer with the AV over IP kind of a solution. Yeah. Any questions?
Great insights, Manav. I think you need to quickly update your slides because smart cars will be coming very soon.
Yes.
And we are moving from an analog to a digital smart car as well.
IP is the future, sir. Anything which is not an IP.
Again, drones, they should be a part of your next slide, because in trauma delivery, we are moving from analog to digital using the drone technology.
Yes.
See, in terms of opportunities, you have mentioned a lot of interesting things. I feel that public digital signages, out of office, out of home, OOH media, that is also now moving from analog to digital. It's moving from flex signages to digital screens all over. Today, when you come to Mumbai on Western Express Highway, you see so many IP-based digital advertising screens, which were not there a few years ago. What is your assessment of outdoor OOH media in terms of the future?
Definitely, you need something to push the contents. How exactly you expect somebody to go and change the content every time if you do not move into a digital one? Then comes a large screen, which needs to be more crystal clear, and the content is heavier. So definitely, IP based and digitalization of all these things is the future. More and more we get into digitalization and IP based solution, more and more beneficial it would be. We would look more learned in front of the customer when we offer these solutions. As I was talking before the discussions began, like globally we are seeing this tremendous growth. So you can see that we say Netgear AV. So AV is something which is a very focused product line for us, and we have been very in-depth road. Now in AV also, if you look into, there is a varied category. AV just is a word, right? Audio visual. But if you look into AV, you have commercial AV where you have these boardroom solutions, corporate solutions where UC kind of solutions, video walls. Then you have Dante based community, which is a huge community. If it is Dante, it is audio over IP. If it audio over IP, that means it is IT, right? IP means IT. Then it's a entire PA system ecosystem. Then there's broadcast. Broadcast is also moving towards IP. It is in a nascent stage, but in the future, broadcast would also move into IP. When I say broadcast, I mean, your all live streaming, your studio rooms, your boardrooms, your background of green, and then I'm talking here, and in the background you see trains moving or cars moving as if I'm sitting in the road. So those kind of things. So NDI based protocols are used in there. So everything, it's a huge world, and it is going to merge into IT. So tremendous opportunity for our IT channel here.
Yeah, I do feel that our IT channel guys must be super excited now.
Yeah.
When we organize InfoComm show every year in Mumbai, we do a lot of free training as well. So when our people are coming over, I will say, don't come for a day, come for 3 days. partake all our education, all our conferences, which are free of charge, to understand how professionals can guide you a vision into the picture. We will now take a few questions from our audience. And there's one very interesting question about the future of projector markets since the introduction of IFPs. Will it be restricted to halls, large rooms, projection mapping, home theaters, or survive till the video walls will take over the world? Aman, you are a good person in this. So what is your projection about IFE versus the projector market?
Obviously, the projector will definitely be back. As Optoma, we do both. But yeah, displays, when you talk about IFPs, they are primarily available at the moment. 86 inch is somewhat suitable, somewhat viable for all the education schools to go after and look after. By in fact, education was always working on 100 inch, 150 inch, 300 inch space. Now, when you talk about 86 inch, 75 inch, and 65 inch, that will remain constrained to your conference rooms. That is where it plays an important aspect and important part. The moment you go to a 50-seater classroom or a 60 or 150-seater, 300-seater classrooms, IFPs fails. But yeah, what you also look at is there are a lot of consultants who have come up with solution wherein they have a single IFP in between or a smaller IFP in between, and they are projecting on a larger wall with projectors, a 300-inch screen or a 1,000-inch screen through projectors, and they have just connected an IFP along with it. That might happen. That is how the hybrid technology or hybrid makeover of a classroom might happen. I would say from the classrooms, the bigger sizes would again dissolve. It will go back to the smaller sizes. You will probably have a 32-inch screen on just a smart dais. You'll write it and it'll showcase on the panel. That is much more feasible nowadays rather than having a IFP on a 50, 60 seater classroom. So yes,
so projectors are here to remain.
Yeah, definitely. And there are more and more applications of projectors that are coming up. I see there are a couple of people in India who are going towards dome, planetarium as a part of education. So these guys, they are basically want our night sky to become part of everybody's life from your LKG to class 12. The moment that comes into picture, the entire system happens only on projection. The dome happens only on projection. And just imagine the massiveness of that particular curriculum. Today, only 30, 40, 60 schools have it. If it becomes part of the curriculum, it'll just be another industry altogether.
Thank you. Sanjay Deendayal, my friend from Hyderabad, has a brilliant question. What do you see the future of projection screens? Who would like to answer this? Ratheesh, would you like to answer this? The future of projection screens?
I'll tell you.
I think someone took it.
Ratheesh, would you like to answer this?
So I think the future of they're meaning the projection screens, right?
Yeah.
So projection screens are going to remain. I don't think that the way it will be looking like would change, because as Aman was rightly presenting the different kind of modalities in which it is going to happen. The different types of requirements are there. If it is a small conference room to a large school room to a large auditorium to a large stadium, different kind of requirements are there. So I'm sure that the projector, the projection screens will remain. But the only thing is that the modality or maybe the way in which that is being used will change for different purposes.
Okay, thank you. We are running short of time, so I will request my colleague Kim to tell us about the InfoComm show. And I look forward to see you all at the show. You all have my number. Please feel free to meet me at the show. Kim, can we have the video, please?
With so many exhibitors at InfoComm India, who should you meet? With limited time, how would you identify exhibitors with solutions that match your needs? Start your search with vBooth. Visit the official show website and select your industry and solutions of interest. Instantaneously, you will get a list of selected exhibitors. Learn more about each selected exhibitor and their solutions through their vBooth, enriched with engaging multimedia content. Shortlist exhibitors with solutions that best match your needs. Send requests to meet at the show. vBooth, making your visit to InfoComm India a highly efficient one like none other.
See, our 2023 edition is the biggest show ever in India. A lot of interesting products, technology, solution on display. I look forward to welcome each one of you at the show 25, 26, 27 October in Mumbai at the brand new JWCC, Bandra Kurla Complex, Mumbai. I thank you all for being a part of this lively session. I thank my panelists for being here with us today, and I look forward to see you in Mumbai very soon. Thank you.
Thank you.